But parting is such sweet sorrow. Having found a candidate to run Scotland even more badly than Nicola Sturgeon, the SNP will rue the day they chose Humza Yousaf, who has outlasted Liz Truss's lettuce, but who lacks the staying power of a Scottish turnip. Like the popular Scottish root vegetable, Yousaf himself probably wants to get mashed tonight, because following the collapse of his deal with the Green Party, he is reliant on the support of one single ex-SNP politician, Ash Regan. When she left the SNP over the party's mad trans policies, Yousaf said it was no loss, a remark that will come back to haunt him. He will be no loss to Scotland when he eventually goes. This is a guy who was installed by the party to continue Nicola Sturgeon's legacy. Well, he has achieved just that, a legacy of drug and alcohol deaths, a Scottish NHS close to bankruptcy, low attainment in schools, crime through the roof, and a brilliant country populated by brilliant people in the grip of woke ideology. The Sturgeon-Yousaf Dream Team have seen women's rights eviscerated to placate trans extremists. They've caused a public spat with the world's greatest author, J.K. Rowling, and don't pick a fight with someone who has access to wizards. And their true low point, a double rapist accommodated in a women's prison. Scotland has now become so terminally woke that this monster, Isla Bryson, real name Adam Graham, has received an apology from a top Scottish prison officer for misgendering him. Well, I'm not one for compelled speech, but I'd be tempted to make misgendering rapists obligatory or at least a national sport. Isla Bryson is a man, and a despicable one at that. But this fall from grace for a party of rapid nationalism is good news for the country. First of all, even the mad SNP have realised that an unthinking race to net zero would pretty much finish off Scotland's already ailing economy, which is why they've ditched the Green Party. Trans madness cost Sturgeon her job, in part at least, and J.K. Rowling, fuelled by the Cass report, is winning the argument that trans women are not women. And the Scottish public have had enough of tribal politics, with the pathetic spectacle of Yousaf blaming the Westminster government for the fact that Scottish postmasters won't get justice for the Horizon scandal, even though it's because he couldn't be bothered to draft legislation in Holyrood, as it's a devolved matter. Sturgeon played the same kind of games during the pandemic, always trying to steal Boris Johnson's thunder with a message that my lockdown is bigger than yours. Scotland will rise again, but I'm going to miss the SNP and I'm going to miss Humza Yousaf. Firstly, for being on the wrong side of every argument, and secondly, for comedy gold like this. Too good. There's a metaphor in there somewhere. Yeah. On your bike, Humza, or should I say, scooter. For full reaction, Sally Morgan, Alpesh Patel and Mike Hollingsworth, who are my Friday A-team. Sally, will you miss Humza Yousaf when he eventually goes?
No, he's going to go. No, I won't miss him. No,
he's got days, not weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, days. Hours, perhaps, even. I think that he's saying, I'm staying. And, I just profess too much. I think that he's going to go pretty soon. And, in with the new one.
Mike, this isn't about the end of one political career, is it? The SNP are in trouble.
I wonder. I think we haven't seen the last of Alex Salmond, and I wonder whether this is his move. After all, as you say, Ash Regan, she's the sort of person who's going to hold the balance,
and she's
already
part
made
of Alex
demands.
Salmond's party, the Alba Party.
She is, and maybe something's going to happen there, which we could see that the whole issue of Scottish nationalism is not dead.
So what might happen? Are you suggesting that somehow Alex Salmond could do a Farage and take over the SNP, or can he make Alba the main pro-independence party of Scotland?
I think your first choice was right. I think he's just waiting in the wings. And he's been fairly quiet. I know he's been through a trial, but there were other reasons that people felt slightly difficult about him.
Yeah.
But I think he's got a reputation. He's got the gift of the gab as well.
Most definitely.
And his history shows that he's really liked by people.
Well, indeed, and his legal woes are behind him with no case to answer. What about that? Alex Salmond saves the SNP, potentially saves Scotland, Alpesh.
Look, I've got to say to the viewers, Brown leaders are not all unpopular, OK? Because I've got a future somewhere at some point. So that's the first. But I've noticed.
Who are the good ones? Barack Obama, pretty good.
Come on, Narendra Modi, for instance, incredibly popular in India.
Bite your hand off for that.
Yeah, right. I don't like separatism. I'm a unionist as well as a royalist. The only part of the United Kingdom that should be separate, and I was born in Leeds, is the People's Republic of Yorkshire. Other than that, I don't like separatists.
Is that for your benefit or theirs?
Well, I need to be a monarch somewhere. OK, so that's what, we call it independence. No, it's separatism, and I'm afraid I don't like it. Now, there's another thing. When you have a big constitutional change, like Brexit, or like the independence referendum, don't make it just 50% plus one vote. Do what every other country in the world does for constitutional changes. A supermajority, 75%. And that proves the point with Scotland. Can you imagine if they had got independence? Now they'd be looking at this and going, oh, my God, what did we do? Look who the leader is. That's why you need a supermajority which will last generations.
I totally agree.
But that's anti-democratic.
Even though I'm a Brexiteer, I think the idea of coming out on the basis of a 52% vote was wrong.
But Mike,
I think it should have been thought of again. Before...
That's anti-democratic.
No, it's more democracy.
Because if you required a supermajority for Brexit, it would never happen.
No, I think it would have done. People would have, yes, I think people would have thought about it more carefully. Maybe the arguments would have been different, but I certainly think it should have been at least 60%.
Briefly, Sally, do you think that the SNP are done for, and do you think that independence is now dead in the water for a generation?
Well, I think it is. And I also think that Alex Salmond would only want his party, Alba. I don't think he would want to go back to the SNP. It holds too many bad memories and too much ill feeling for him.
Yeah, OK.
So I think that he could... I think you're right, Chris. I think he could come back on the scene politically, but it will be for his party.
But on that question, you go to Edinburgh quite a lot, especially during August.
Yeah.
Don't you feel you're going to a different country when you go there?
Yeah,
no.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's
I don't.
because it's more nationalistic now.
Oh, is
I think Scotland and the people are fantastic.
And it's more integrated too. Yeah. Amazingly.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And I think though that Scotland can be saved, but in the absence of Humza Yousaf.